All right, now having a grasp on Aristotelian doctrine of the mean, I think that it is helpful to, again, kind of think about kind of what that offers us as it relates to the consuming of alcohol. And also, I mean, Aristotle pays really close attention to the way that we reason. He pays really close attention to the fact that, like, to be human is to reason and to reason well. And using the doctrine of the mean can be that implementation of our ability to reason. And so, right, going forward, the question is, all right, like if I'm going to, choose to consume alcohol, well, thinking about that in terms of the doctrine of the mean, right? Like finding that sweet spot where, again, you don't have too much, but also like if you're choosing to drink alcohol, you're probably not going to have nothing. So again, finding that sweet spot where maybe you're buzzed, and then again, there's not going to be a hangover, there's not going to be the after effects, you're not going to wake up the next morning and say, oh my gosh, I had too much, right? And so I think there is a nice framework there, a nice kind of like, seeking out of balance, hopefully. So I hope that that does offer a framework, and I hope that that offers, again, kind of a way of thinking about and potentially considering maybe more healthy habits when it comes to consuming. The last thing I want to talk about today is just kind of wrapping up the course. And in that, I think that it's really important to recognize how much we've done this semester, right? And I think that that's actually a pretty impressive feat. To go back to January, which seems like lifetimes ago, frankly, right? We go back to January and we think about just kind of the basis that we laid with philosophy. We looked at the various branches of philosophy. We looked at subjective and objective evaluations. We looked at kind of where and how some of these questions of philosophy of alcohol can and do start to emerge. And then we discussed kind of the big three, right? We spent some time discussing the uniqueness of beer. What about beer, makes it distinct and categorizes, and is, unique and worthy of discussion. And then we talked about wine and we talked about spirits, all by which, again, kind of asking those similar questions that maybe have yet to be really addressed and really, kind of dove into, because we just assume, it's beer, it's wine, it's just liquor, right? But in fact, like, we can dive a bit deeper. And when we were talking about wine, we talked about the nature of terroir and how terroir might play into other entities. And then with spirits, right, thinking about this like immateriality, and so the idea that does alcohol or can alcohol bring about kind of an immateriality within oneself, right? Talked about bourbon, watched the documentary Neat, which was pretty neat. And then we had the midterm, and then after the midterm, right, we've turned and kind of like focused on more social, cultural issues as they relate to alcohol use and alcohol consumption and alcohol abuse as well, right? So talking about the nature of identity as it relates to alcohol, talking about the nature of freedom and responsibility when it comes to alcohol, talking about kind of the way that the feminist can offer us a perspective and a lens by which to examine questions surrounding kind of alcohol culture, and then more concretely looking into and focusing on issues as they relate to hookup culture, date rape, as they relate to like masculine and feminine drinking, and again, spending I think some really worthwhile time in that space. And then last week, right, spending a little bit of time talking about hangover, spending some time talking about kind of the nature of hangovers and what we can learn. All by way of setting us up this week to talk about kind of like if it's possible to be a virtuous drinker, if it's possible to consume alcohol in like a reasonable and virtuous way. And I really do hope that as we kind of like leave this course, and I'll say more to this on Thursday, but I hope that as we kind of like move on from this course and as you kind of, wrap everything up here, you're able to feel proud about kind of what we've done in here. And I do hope that, the lens by which we've been looking through has been bright. I hope that it has been illuminating. And I hope that you're able to kind of take what we've done in here and, apply it and think about it and continue to, dive in. So a little bit more on Thursday. You can see that you have your last reflection below. So good luck. And on Thursday, there will be like one quick little, see you video, and then you'll have your final exam. So good luck this week. Cheers, everybody.